Yo guys, what's up? It's Blackheart here and welcome to a new video. So today I wanted to make a quick video to showcase the main things that happened with with this new patch. I gotta be honest guys, it's a pretty underwhelming patch and that's something that I didn't expect. I expected it after the last two patches, they finally were starting to cook more, and honestly from this patch, after a long time of waiting, I expected them to do something different. I expected them to expand the changes that they made with the last two patches even more, but unfortunately that was not the case. Now I'm gonna show you basically all the things that changed, but apart from this, like literally 5 things changed overall, 5 things, and one of those things I don't even like it, by the way. I'm gonna try to show you what I mean by that and what they could have done maybe different from what they did. So the first change was to health. It's a general change they made to all the characters. Now all the characters have 190 health instead of 200. I think this change is bad because like you remove a 10 points in which you basically can try to come back from your opponents, because you gotta understand that in this game combos are very damaging. One combo can deal even 100 damage, so basically if you remove this 10 points of health less, basically what's gonna happen now is that if you hit 2 combos against some characters, you can potentially die. Let's say for example we are Bryan. No, I think the most useful example is probably June, right? For this, right? So like now combos have a bigger impact, because before maybe that was that little 10 HP points more that could have helped you in situations in which maybe you ate such a full combo and then maybe you could try to poke. But now, for example, let's say June launches you with this and then wapa wapa bambade e poi brambade brabungade brabongade brambrongade bangade. It's precisely 100 damage. Precisely 100 damage. So 2 cancans, you're dead. 2 cancans, you're dead faster. Like maybe, for example, before you could have eaten a little bit longer combo. Not, let's say if you eat full cancan 2 times in a row, let's say you're cooked either way. But for example, you gotta understand that it's not full 100 damage. Understand what I mean? It's not fully 100 damage because there's also some recoverable health, right? So for example, let's say you recovered some health and then maybe Jun did another combo, you probably wouldn't have died, okay? But now you probably die nevertheless. You understand what I mean? You probably die nevertheless because the health is less. So basically it's a buff to combos, an indirect buff to combos even more, because now combos have a bigger impact. Because again, they didn't nerf the damage of combos overall. If they nerfed the damage of combos overall, I would say okay, that's good, because then of course if you nerf the combos overall, of course the health has to be reduced, otherwise rounds last too long. But if you don't nerf the combos, if the combos stay the same amount of damage, again, look at June if I get the full install, by the way. And speaking of June, by the way, she didn't receive any nerfs again, by the way, yeah? King didn't receive any nerfs, by the way. 117 damage. It's still crazy, even with 200 health, but now it's even crazier. You even have less health to try and comeback your opponent. So yeah, very shit change. Another change you're seeing it right now, it's on the quick recovery. That's good, because this was kind of spammable before. The quick recovery now is way worse on block, because before it was like -2 only. Now it's -7 on block, and even on hit it's worse. It goes from +3 to -2. So now basically when someone gets hit by this quick recovery, you're the one who's minus, even if you hit your opponent with that. Again, this is a small nerf to this Oki situation. So basically now you get a smaller reward if you do this kind of a wake up and you're right, basically. Alright, nothing too big, it's there, and okay, now let's take a look at the nerfs. Okay, so there are 5 nerfs, but literally 5 nerfs. I'm not saying 5 as a number, they're literally 5 nerfs. Again, they're welcome, don't get me wrong, they are welcomed, but it's insignificant. I expected 10 million nerfs and they delivered the 5 nerfs. They had a lot of time to process this and to make this patch, by the way. That's why it's so disappointing, because they basically didn't cook anything. But okay, but I gotta give them to them. The changes are good. The first thing that changes, and now finally we saw a nerf on QCB1 finally. This move got finally nerfed a little bit, because this move was probably one of the most broken moves in the game, and it's still fucking insane. It just isn't completely overwhelming on block anymore, because it went from +5. By the way, it's still a counter launcher, by the way, all crazy properties. It went from +5 to +1. So basically it means that now you have more counterplay on block. You can try to step more, and also the block reaction is different. So yeah, I think it creates a little bit less pushback though. So both are nerf and buff probably, but yeah, this is the change I made on QCB1. So again, it's way less plus on block, so you have more counterplay after, thank fucking god. And another very welcome change on Bryan is that they nerfed to 1-1. And Bryan mains, of course, are crying about this. But it was a very needed nerf, because this move was fucking insane. Why? Because it's a safe made from jab strings they used to counter launch. The story of this move is kind of interesting, because before it counter launched with a weird animation. So it counter launched, but the opponent was side to you. It was not in front of you, it was side to you, so the combo was a little bit weird. That's why it was safe. Then they completely dumbed down the combo. The combo then was super easy to do. The opponent was in front of you, counter it, and you could get a full combo. That is simply too much, because again, this comes from a very strong jab string. Okay, so having a mid extension that is safe on block, it can also delay, by the way, the jab string and so on. It's too much. So at least, thank god, they nerfed this thing. It was needed. But again, the thing is that it's not, of course it's not enough yet. So it's too little on Bryan still. But even on the other characters, so many characters are still untouched. Literally 5 nerfs, guys. Again, so disappointing. I'm not even angry. I'm just disappointed. For example, Alisa's still untouched. Yeah, for another patch. I can talk about every character basically. Dragunov still untouched. I don't know, King still untouched after too many seasons, bro. It's fucking insane. June still untouched. It's simply at this point it's simply dumb. I don't even know what to say anymore. But let's see the other nerfs. So on Nina they nerfed one thing on Nina, which is okay, but basically they nerfed the second hit of down to 2. Now the second hit doesn't counter launch anymore. That's good, because this comes from a very strong low. The low itself is only -12 on block, I think, and so basically it was a very safe low. And when you try to punish, she had a full extension that counter launch as well. And by the way, the counter extension was also -12. By the way, fucking insane. It was simply too strong. This string -11 even from some distances. It was simply too strong. So now they nerfed this, thank fucking god, and now she doesn't have any kind of counter launch out of this thing, out of this string. If you try to challenge the down 2 and she does down to 2, nothing happens differently from normal. Like normally that's what she does, and that's what she also does in counter it. So very welcome change, but again it's one change. Let's see, for another important change was to Kazuya. Vabbè, on Kazuya, as always, I welcome change. Very welcome change. They basically nerfed down back 1-2 on the ground, because I'm gonna show you. Down back 1-2, oopsie, sorry. Down back 1-2, basically, you cannot loop down back 1-2 into down back 1-2 anymore. That's something that was needed. And also at the wall, I'm gonna try to show you with this, wait. Oh. Before this was something guaranteed. Down back 1-2, when it hits on the ground now, it doesn't relaunch on hit dash. That was something very dumb, by the way, that he could do this. He could relaunch you on the ground for doing down back 1-2, which it's grounded fully. And again, it's something that needed to go. And again, they removed this. Very good. Very welcome change. But again, it's only one, as always. Only one change. For all the months they had in preparation for this patch, it's simply not enough. Let's see the last change. The last change was done to Lili. The substantial change was done to Lili. Okay. Then apart from this whole behavioral fixes, all bug fixes, all this kind of shit. So the last thing they changed in terms of balance is Lili's back to Need Smash. Then now on block lives closer. So basically now it's easier to punish, which again it's very welcome because this Need Smash is fucking stupid. This Need Smash is fucking dumb, and as you can see, it leaves even from longer distances. It leaves super close, so basically you can always punish this hit smash. Again, everybody can punish this hit smash properly on block. Again, very welcome change, but of course, even in the case of Lili, you name it, it's not enough. What else did I want to show you? I'll talk about Bob in another video. Another thing I wanted to show you is that they also made another thing, a general thing to a lot of things. Sorry for the repetition. That is the one of nerfing jumping, buffing jumping attacks. Basically, there were a lot of jumping attacks in the game that you could still parry, and now they removed this, and it's something again that I don't like because you remove more counterplay to strings. For example, I think the biggest winner out of in this area is Devil Jin. Why? Because I'm gonna show it. But again, there are a million strings like this in the game that they buffed. For example, the Yachi, the Omens now are variable and so on. So basically now all the attack reversals don't work anymore on a lot of more moves now. I don't like it because you nerf defensive options even more. You nerf parries even more. And for example, now Devil Jin's back to 3. The second it is not parryable anymore, which again was a counterplay to this string. I'm gonna show you. This is not parryable anymore. You see? It was before. As you can see now, since it's considered airborne for some reason, even though he's literally on the ground. But is he flying? Maybe he's flying a little bit, maybe. I don't know. I think it's dumb. By the way, now you cannot parry this. You cannot parry with the attack reversals that Jun has, Asuka has, and so on. So basically, it's an indirect nerf to these characters. There are so many things you cannot parry anymore. Just to show you another example, Yachi's Omen, you cannot parry attack reversal anymore. But again, there are so many examples like this. So they removed a lot of parry counterplays on a lot of things right now. And again, it's something that I think it's not okay. I'm gonna show you. Okay, the Omen out of this stream, for example, I'm gonna show you. You see? I cannot parry this. Again, I find all of this very dumb. You remove more counterplay. For what reason exactly? It's not a big deal because probably you wouldn't parry in this situation anyway. But it's the fact of removing even more defensive counterplay on block that I don't like. But it's something that it. So honestly, I'm very disappointed because we saw two very great patches recently with, you know, the previous patches we had recently, very good patches. And then we got this slop and disappointment of a patch after all of this, you know, all of this joy. After all of this joy, we got nothing. And it's a little bit disappointing. I expected more, I'm gonna be honest. I expected more from them. But that's what we got now. So hopefully they'll do better next time. What can I say? So, I don't know, guys. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. And thank you for watching as always. And see you guys very soon again. Take care of you. Bye.